Right then, how are we all doing? So it's all doom and gloom in the minute with the energy crisis and what's happening in the energy world from the gas issues and the worldwide gas prices as they're all going up. And now I know this channel's meant to be about drones, but actually it's time just to step back for a minute because a lot of people are going to suffer shortly. If you're not already on 31p a kilowatt hour, it's nothing to what's coming. And I thought I'll just share a personal experience. So back in 2015-ish, I actually decided to get myself some solar panels on my house. Now it made sense for a couple of reasons, because number one is, you know, that standing charge that's on all our bills, that is also green tax. So that pays for people that were having solar panels installed and reaping the benefits. So you get paid. So when I did it, I was one of the last to get like the 14p a kilowatt or 12p a kilowatt hour generated. So every 3 months or so, I get a check for X amount of money that I've managed to generate in the past 3 months. And that's around £220 in the summer months. In the winter, it can be 50 quid. Because in the winter, of course, we don't get as much sun. However, kind of where I'm going with this is, if you own your own house, now I get not everyone owns their own property, and I'll talk about people that rent in a minute and how to maybe help themselves a bit, maybe not, I don't know. I'll talk about that bit a bit later. But if you're a house owner in the UK and your roof gets the sun for most of the day, is solar worth it? Well, let me be clear. Yes, it is. Now, I pay 15p a kilowatt hour at the minute with I'm on Octopus, and I pay 15p a kilowatt. Now, I get paid for 15p that I generate as well. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? But I'm also with Octopus Go, so I get cheap electricity at night. So from 12:30 to 4:30, I pay 5p per kilowatt hour. Now, my system is purely solar in this house. It's purely solar. I do need to add the battery. I'll come to batteries in a minute. But if people invested as much in their house self-sufficiency, like putting solar on it, for example, or getting a battery, which we'll get to in a minute, you could actually save yourself from these crippling prices that are going to come. Because when we go to 31p a kilowatt, which will happen to me shortly, I know people are already there already, that means my electric bill will double. So just so you know, during the summer months, my electric bill, I'll show my weekly one, roughly, and I did a bag week where I spent £10 on electric because I put an aircon on. Those 2 hot days we had, where we were hitting 39, 40 degrees or whatever it is, 38, whatever those 2 hot days were, I actually put on my air conditioning unit. I've one of those big mobile ones. It's a 2 or 3 kilowatt system. My solar can power that throughout most of the day. However, in the evenings it couldn't do it, so therefore it cost me money. However, I can spend between £5 and £10 on electric a week. Now, my house runs 2 big fish ponds, and that's 250 watts worth of electricity every hour. Those things are using 250 watts every hour, easily. And my main solar can deal with that quite happily. Now, I need to add a battery. So a battery, when you go to look at solar systems, I would recommend, you're going to want around a 4 kilowatt system, but your battery is where the big win is now. And it's getting to the stage where actually you just want a battery. You don't need the solar anymore. And you're looking at me going, what's he talking about? Well, what's really interesting about batteries are, if you're on the Octopus Go, and I'll put my Octopus Go link in the thing so you can go and check them out. I'll put the link in the description. what you can do is you can charge your battery at night. So from 12:30 to 4:30, you can charge your battery. Now, when you charge the battery at 7p or 5p a kilowatt, it'll take that power and store it. And then what you can do is the battery will use that power in the daytime to power your house. Now, a 5 kilowatt battery won't last too long. It won't last that long in any house, to be honest. If you use like an oven or electric shower, if you're using electricity, those kind of things will suck a battery very quickly. Kettle will suck a battery very quickly, for example. However, when you couple it up with solar, it will give you the bridging gap. So from 4:30 until, let's say, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, even 9 o'clock when it gets to winter, the battery will bridge that gap until the solar can then kick in to recharge it for free. And then your battery will then get topped up again in the daytime. If you're really smart, and you've got an immersion heater, you're better off getting the solar water heater system, because once that's in as well, your water's always warm, always. And you can then start to see real benefits. And your battery will be topped up again in the daytime, and then in the evening, as the sun sets, the battery will keep you going for a few hours afterwards. So even if your battery's not your solar's not well placed, your battery can help bridge the gap. The idea is to make the house to run as cheap as possible. Now they're talking about £3,000 bills, £4,000 electric bills. Let me be clear, if you go out and you spend £6,000 or £8,000 on a solar and battery system, the payback now will be really quick, because the reality is you're going to find that in the winter, yes, a couple of months are still going to hurt you. Let me be clear, a couple of months will always hurt you. Mine is December and January. It hurts because quite clearly there's not as much sun. That's just the way it is. We just don't get the sun. So I get hit then by that. So it takes its toll. But in the summer, of course, I reckon if I had a 12 kilowatt battery, I could basically go off grid for about 6 months of the year, maybe 7. I wouldn't even have to draw on overnight charging. I could probably come off completely. Now, a lot of people are going to go to me, well, we can't afford that, we can't afford this, can't afford the other. You'd be amazed what people will spend on toys like drones, or a car, or their garden, or they're going to decorate the house. Well, for once, or a new kitchen. People will spend £6,000 on a new kitchen, won't think twice about it. But £6,000 on something that will benefit your house for the next 25 years, like solar, people go, oh, well, I don't know. We have to get past, we don't know, and go, right, we know that gas prices are now going to stay high for, let's say, the next 3 years, because even if the war was to stop tomorrow, it doesn't mean everyone's going to start trading with Russia again, because only fools would do that. That's just reality. So the gas market price has gone through the roof, and it's going to get interesting. We shut down the nuclear power stations, meant to be shutting down today. Hinkley B, I believe, is being shut. Hinkley C is not built yet because we were kicking that around for so long. That was a huge cock up because of the amount of time it took to sort that out. It means we've got about a 12-year wait before we can bridge that gap. And when you've got a nuclear power station that goes down, that generates 3% of the UK's power, you can imagine there's a gap that's massive. So one thing's going to happen. More gas usage and burning. Prices will increase because we've started to use more gas. And how do you protect yourself? The only way we can do it is to invest in our own properties. Now, a bit of a rant in there somewhere. The same goes for industries. If you own the building you're in, you need to put solar on the roof. Of course, the tax dodging ones, what they do is they buy a building, create a new company, and they rent from themselves or rent from another company, and therefore putting solar up might not be an option. More fool them. That's all I've got to say on that. Now, if you own a business and you own the building, put solar on your roof. It makes perfect sense. It really does. Now, there's going to be those going to me, well, I can't afford to do that and I live in rented accommodation. Now, there are ways to do it. So this is my shed, and on it you'll see the 600 watts, so 3 panels. Now these are old panels. I've had them 5 years or so. They don't generate a lot of power, only 600 watts, but they can power my TV and my pond in the evening. So because of the way my roof is, when the sun comes off it around 6 o'clock or something, these give me another few hours where the sun's on it, stays on it nicely, and it just powers the very basics in the house for nothing. And they were cheap at the time. I think they were about £400 back then. Now, someone's going to go, oh, but they're only saving you like 4p an hour. Well, actually, right now, they're saving me 4p an hour. Well, when my price increases triples, they're saving me 16p an hour. So what you could do, if you rent a property and you've got a garden, there's nothing to stop you ground mounting solar panels. You'll have to get a Sparky to put an RCD in so they're correctly, don't wire them over how mine are wired, that's all I'm going to say. Get them properly wired in, and you can just do it through a good 13 amp cable, because you're only going to shove about 2 amps or 3 amps down it, or maybe 4 maximum, and that's it. Personally, I need to change these 3 panels. I need to put 4 panels on that shed roof, and it will take 4. And if I got 4 250s, that's a kilowatt. That will be a big win for me, and that means in the evening then it'd be even better, especially on cloudier days when they're not going to be fully efficient. Their angle's not quite good enough either, so they're not the best, but they're doing something, and that's all that matters. The idea is to take a bit of pain out of my bills. So, if you're worried about the energy crisis, or you want to make that real change, these are the best ways you can do it. Now, you can go only battery. You might go, I can't afford solar, I can't afford to do any of this. This is the final option. Buy a battery. Just get the battery system. That's all you need. You might go, well, I can't afford to spend the £10,000 or £6,000 on a system, but I can afford to spend £3,000 on a battery. That's fine. Buy the biggest battery system you can afford. So I would say you want around 5 to 8 kilowatts, depending upon your household. And have that charge up at night between 12:30 and 4:30, and it'll just use itself for as long as it can, and then that's it. And you just charge it, and it'll just give you a little bit of help. I'm sure you hope for. Give you a little bit of help during the day. And it doesn't sound a lot, but the payback now on solar is going to be so much quicker. I mean, when all this price stuff kicks off for me in October, so I will hit whatever the new pricing is in October, it's looking like it's going to be 40p plus a kilowatt. If it gets to 50p, to be honest, my solar that I bought in 2015 will now have the best payback ever. It really will, because I'm not going to stress too much. At the minute, if my bill was to double, if my bills were just to double, that means I'm using around £10 a week in the summer. £10 a week. That's £40 a month. And with a battery, I could bring that down even more, because the battery and the solar could bring that down by charging cheap at night. Even with the price increase, I still reckon with a battery, I could actually bring down my bills and not see them go up. So, to beat the price in electric price hiking, invest in your property, invest in solar. If you're not moving anywhere for the next 25 years, it's the way to go. If you're not moving in the next 5 years, payback at the minute is around 3 to 4 years, and 4-year payback investment is brilliant. And remember, you can sell. So if you get your system on the roof and you get it signed off, you can sell for back to the grid. You can sell to an energy supplier. So Octopus, Bulb, British Gas, all of them will buy your electricity. So if you're out for the day and you're going, well, I'm out for the day, so it doesn't matter. But if you're out for the day, remember, they will actually pay you for what you generate. It may only be 7 or 10p a kilowatt hour, but it adds up over time. And of course, when you're in at home at the weekends and everything, your power's free. You think, put the washing machine on when it's sunny. You no longer just put it on whenever. You put things on. Your dishwasher, put it on when it's sunny. Washing machine on when it's sunny. Tumble dryer when it's sunny. You do not put the washing machine on if it's a miserable day outside, because you're not generating the power. So it's a different way of thinking. But that's the only way you're going to beat these nasty price hikes, by the way. And again, if you don't own the property, solar panels on a shed outside, just buy a cheap shed, put solar panels on it. You can floor mount them. There's ways you can do it. Saying that, I haven't got this, that, and the other. If you've got a garden where there's a will, there's a way, is all I'm going to say. Just get a Sparky to check everything over before you wire it into the house. Just make sure it goes into a proper fused box and everything. Right, that's it. Take care. Have fun. Enjoy flying. I'm enjoying the sun, by the way, because my house is running for nothing right now. That's not bad, is it, really? My drone's charged for nothing. It doesn't even cost me to charge my drone up. It's brilliant. I love it. Right. Take care. Cheers.